Hey everyone, welcome back. I'm your host Ruby, and today we're going to be reading from the Book of the Bazaar, Freaky Facts and Strange Stories by Varla Ventura. This might be a new little, I guess you could say, segment. The book is filled with different short stories, which I'm really hoping that you guys would all like. And yeah, let's get into it now, shall we? But before that, really quickly, if you are new to the channel, I would like to thank you for checking it out. And if you haven't subscribed, I would greatly appreciate it if you subscribe and hit that like button. It would mean the world to me. But let's grab our snacks, grab our drinks, sit back, relax, and get into it, shall we? The Magical Skull of Doom. Very few objects have engendered as much controversy or imaginative conjecture as the Magical Skull of Doom, a crystal skull life-size in its circumference and likeness to the human head, shrouded in mysteries and unknown origins. There are countless tales of strange phenomena associated with it. Some believe it is haunted, others believe it is cursed, and still others believe it is of extraterrestrial origin. As legend has it, the skull first turned up in the 1920s under the altar in an archaeological dig of the ruins of Labatun, the great Mayan city in what is now known as Belize. Some of the greatest arguments occur over whether or not the Magical Skull of Doom is pre-Columbian, while other crystal skulls have been discovered in Central America ruins. None can match the Skull of Doom for its perfection of craftsmanship and likeness to a real skull. Perhaps the biggest mystery of all is that the crystal from which the skull was carved appears to be derived only from California, not the Mayan territory. Frederick Michael Hedges, one of the archaeologists who was present at the discovery, is rumored to have planted it on the occasion of his adopted daughter's Anne's birthday, the day of the skull's discovery. It was also suggested that the skull was never in Labatun. Nevertheless, Hedges proclaimed that the skull was used by the high priest of the Maya to concentrate on and will death, that it was the embodiment of all evil, or that people who scoffed at the skull have died or have been stricken and become seriously ill. Hedges also attributed to the large hunk of crystal the moniker of the Skull of Doom, and greatly aided in the swirl of rumors, mist, and myth that has come to enshroud it. Frank Dortland, a highly reputable art restorer and one of the later owners of the skull, kept and studied the Magical Skull of Doom. Dortland swore that the skull gave off an elusive perfume, that it seemed to emanate a sound similar to bells chiming, and that it could change color at will. He also claimed that it sometimes was filled with ever-changing cloudy images, and at other times it contained crystal-clear images of temples, mountains, and myriads other striking scenes. Other folks who observed the skull when it was under Dortmund's watch, said a hazy aura would occasionally enshroud it. Still, strangers are the reports of physiological phenomena such as a quickening of the pulse, muscle spasms in the legs and arms, and even eye twitching affecting people who were near the skull. Maybe people are fascinated with the magic skull of doom because it is simple in its inherent magnificence. It looks like it was formed whole, and it bears nearly no sign of tool marks. The artist who created this skull was a master of the highest order. The handiwork is nothing short of spectacular. Just polishing the skull would have been a labor of some years. The proverbial icing on the cake is especially fascinating. The skull is crafted in such a way that light collects and refracts in the eye sockets, causing them to emit an eerie glow. Now that was creepy. Imagine if you find a skull and all of a sudden, you get these weird feelings or you start seeing these weird things. Whew. I can only imagine. But comment down below. Do you think it was just planted there and rumors just started circulating? Or do you really think that he found this skull and it's true what they were saying? I definitely want your opinions. But let's get to the next one, shall we? The Transylvanian Tablets. In 1961, archaeologists digging into a prehistoric mound in the Transylvanian village of Tara made a startling discovery. Several small clay tablets with bizarre inscriptions on them. Some believe the inscriptions to be sigils or magical signs, and others believed that they were important documents left behind for the singular purpose of being found, time capsules perhaps. Using the modern method of carbon dating, the object's origin was placed at around 4000 BC. The writing was believed to be of Mesopotamian origin, specifically Sumerian, the first written language. Could this discovery mean the origins of writing began in the wild backwoods of Transylvania? The 3 tablets were found in the lowest layer of the dig. They were in a sacrificial pit within a burial mound, and the pit also contained some scattered human bones. The bones bore symbols quite similar to the inscriptions on the tablets. The symbols were both from Sumer and from the highly advanced Minoan civilizations of Crete. But if the carbon dating is accurate, the tablets were made by a primitive Stone Age agricultural tribe known as the Vinca. The Vinca predated Sumerian writing by 1 millennium and the Minoan writing by 2000 years. Most scholars believe that the inscriptions were magical ciphers, spells, and secret codes of this ancient farming tribe. The hash marks, swirls, X's, and shapes on the 3 tablets cast a spell over mystery lovers too. Well then, we'll get to the next one. Stonehenge. Built over 4,000 years ago, Stonehenge, the massive stone monument that sits on the Salisbury Plain of England is shrouded in mystery and legend. Was it constructed as an ancient calendar and used to predict archaeological events or seasonal changes? Or was it a place of worship, a spiritual temple built to honor the deities of its makers? The purpose of this spectacular man-made rock formation has been studied and debated for centuries. Just as bewildering is the question of how Stonehenge was created. Some of the stones used are believed to have come from hundreds of miles away. How were these rocks, some weighing up to 4 tons, transported such a distance in an era before the invention of the wheel? No one knows for sure, and no one knows for sure who built Stonehenge. There are many supernatural and mystical theories, though none have ever been proven. Some believe Stonehenge was the creation of aliens, while others claim that the sorcerer Merlin used his magical powers to move the stones across the land and sea. One legend even tells of the devil creating Stonehenge as part of a bizarre riddle he concocted to toy with local villagers. Stone's public house. Numerous stories of ghostly encounters surround Stone's public house in Ashland, Massachusetts. Oh goodness, I apologize. You would think I'd be able to say it because I'm from there. Oh goodness, I'm gonna start it over. Stone's public house. Numerous stories of ghostly encounters surround Stone's public house in Ashland, Massachusetts. The inn and pub was built in 1834 by John Stone and still serves as a restaurant and pub today. The assistant manager of Stone's tells a tale of being alone in the pub one night, finishing up the day's duties, and having a sudden feeling of terror. Then a handful of birdseed fell through holes in the ceiling, rattling to his newly mopped floor. Other staffers report water faucets turning on by themselves, and numerous patrons say they have felt someone tapping on their shoulder, only to find no one behind them when they turn around. A noted hypnotist and parapsychologist, Ralph Bibbo, visited the inn numerous times and says that there are at least 6, possibly 7, different ghosts that dwell there. Bibbo says that Stone himself accidentally killed a boarder in 1845 and tried to cover up the murder. The other spirits were accomplices or witnesses to Stone's crime, having sworn to keep Stone's crime a secret while they were alive. They are still bound to the pub in death. Well then, I would like to know, do you guys believe in aliens and the paranormal, like ghosts and things like that? Comment down below. I definitely would like to know. And then I'll tell you guys my answer next video. So let's get to it. The next story is the Tower of London. The Tower of London is perhaps the most infamous haunted dwelling in history. Built over a 200-year period, beginning in the early 11th century, the complex is seen as an architectural wonder, having over 20 towers and occupying over 18 acres of land. The Tower of London was used as by English monarchs as a prison, and it has housed some of Britain's most notorious of criminals. Murderers and traitors to the crown were locked up in one of its many towers to await execution, and those prisoners who were sentenced to death were beheaded within the tower's very walls. Many of those who were beheaded are said to haunt the tower to this day. Lady Jane Grey, who held the throne for only 9 days in 1554 before being executed in the tower, is said to appear every year on the day of her death, holding her own head beneath her arm. 2 other murdered queens, Anne Boleyn and Catherine Howard, both wives of Henry VIII, also are said to appear within the tower as 2 headless figures surrounded by supernatural glow. Catherine was even seen and heard wandering the halls and begging for mercy, as she did on the day of her execution. One of the tower's most gruesome murders was that of the Countess of Salisbury. As her head was placed on the executioner's block, she panicked and tried to run. The executioner chased her down and hacked her to death with his axe. It is said that the spirits of the Countess and her executioner appear and reenact her brutal murder. Of all the ghostly sightings in the Tower of London, the most disturbing are the apparitions of 2 small boys walking along the hallway hand in hand. These boys are believed to be the sons and heir of King Edward V. Edward's brother, Richard, the Duke of Gloucestershire, placed his nephew in the tower after King Edward's death. He later smothered the 2 princes in their sleep so that he could claim the king's crown for himself. Wow. Someone who does that to a child has no heart, I swear. The next one is called A Ghost to Be. What manner of death creates a ghost? While many ghosts may stay on after their passing because they are fond of a place or person, most hauntings are attributed to some kind of disruptive death. Leslie Rule describes these as ghost makers in her book Coast to Coast Ghosts. Number 1. Murder. Unsolved killings, especially ghosts, often moves on once the murder is solved. Number 2. Suicide. Torment equals a soul that is bound to the earth. 3. Accidents. Sudden deaths have more hauntings attached to them than deaths of natural causes. 4. Broken hearts. Those who die mourning are often the source of ghostly activity. 5. Greed. a preoccupation with land or money in life can be carried into the beyond. 6. Lack of proper burial or desecration of a grave site. These are all the things that can create a ghost. So be aware, everyone. Now, the next story is King's Tavern, Natchez, Mississippi. The story of the ghosts at King's Tavern in Natchez, Mississippi dates back to the late 1700s when a woman named Madeline, the mistress of Richard King, was murdered by King's jealous wife. For more than 200 years, the tavern's patrons have reported hauntings, including the ghost of a woman standing in front of them, angrily poised, with hands on her hip. In the 1930s, the skeleton of a woman was discovered, sealed in a brick fireplace, a dagger in her chest. Ooh. So I guess that was proof that she did do it. Silas of Kennebuck. The Kennebuck Inn in Kennebuckport, Maine, I do apologize if I'm saying that wrong, is reputed to be haunted by a friendly ghost named Silas. Among Silas's tricks are levitating glasses and throwing beer mugs. Well, now you guys know if you're ever in Kennebuckport, Maine. Next story is Rebecca Dorrington's Fatal Fall. In the high Sierra of California, among the pines and fresh mountain air, the little town of Dorrington is home to the Dorrington Hotel. The town is named after Rebecca Dorrington, who died in a fatal fall down a flight of stairs in the hotel in 1870. Today's hotel guests report banging doors, flashing lights, and furniture shifting. Some have even claimed to witness a phantom recreation of Rebecca's fatal fall. And we're going to leave it there for today. But definitely hit that like button and comment down below. And we will see you guys next video. This is Ruby, signing off.